G'day, here's a little video that I'm going to put together showing how I drill out these HO figures and put hand lanterns in them. With all the tools, you've got to have the right tools to do a job. So I've got all these different types of pin vices, and that's how I start off the figure. Here's a conductor, and you can see I've got the arm hanging out so it can be holding a lantern, same as the figures in the background. Okay, we'll start him off. And you can see I'm keeping straight up the leg that way, starting to make a cut. As I make the cut, I turn and get the figure that way so I can keep the drill going straight. Now, if you've done a lot of these figures, which I've done, you can cheat and use a Dremel pistol grip drill. Now, because he's got a bend in his arm, I've drilled up his leg here. So I'm up into the body and I need to come through. I'm going to put a lantern in his hand. So I'll drill up his arm in both ways. Now I'll drill up the other way. Come on. And what we're going to do there now is we're going to cut a hole in the back of the figure, just making life easy. So we'll cut a hole in his back here and we'll fill it with squadron putty later on. We've got the hole both ways there. So now you can see the hole inside there. So that's ready to run the wires. Here's a comparison. These are the 0603 warm white LEDs I use on a lot of the locos for headlights and interior lights and coaches, etc. And there's one there. Now that one there is the 0402. So you can fit about 6 or 7 of those on top of that 0603. I buy them in a coil from China. So that's the size of them there, sitting in the rack. That's them there, and these little ones there along there. You just pull one out. So what we're going to do is that fella there, we're going to solder a couple of wires onto him. And the wires I've got, some insulated wires. A lot of people use magnet wire. I've got some insulated wire I'll use this time. There's a closer view showing the 0402 and the 0603. And I'll grab half of the lead. So there it is there. Now we're going to coat the surface mount lead on the solder pad with some Carr's orange flux. I've got a little paintbrush here. I've got some of the flux on it. Now the soldering iron, I've got that set at 200 degrees centigrade. Clean the tip and it's clean. A bit of fresh solder. And we just give that a touch. Don't want to wet the camera and do this at the same time. Righto, that's tinned. Alright, now we've had that tinned and I've tinned the wire. I'll trim the wire off afterwards, so I'll just put that on there now. And there we go. Now there's one wire on. That's the hardest part over. Alright, with one wire on, we're going to put some flux on the other side. I'll give this a go, see if I can get this to a bit of fresh solder on. Just to take. Okay, there we go, we've got both wires on. Bit of luck, it'll come on. There it is, we've got it on. Yep. So there you go. There's the lead. Very tiny glass beads. So I'm going to use one of these as his hand lantern. For putting the glass bead on top of the surface mount lead, I use Loctite super glue gel. It's a thicker gel. Nearly out of this one, but we'll push a bit out. take a bit of that off. And we'll put it on top of the resin light package. Get a good smear. Okay, we've got the glass bead super glued onto the end of the 0402 LED, and we're going to start feeding the wires through. So I've fed them through his arm or his hand, so we're going to go down this way, then go back up into his body and then down his leg. I've threaded the wires through, and you can see how I've done that, how I've looped them, looped the wires, these little tiny wires through onto the LED, so the LED's on. Get a closer look. Okay, we've filled him up with squadron putty. I've painted his arm part there, and all we just got to do is finish painting his back. Okay, so we've now got the hand lantern on, the squadron putty's filled him up and he's been painted. Next touch up I like to do is add just some black acrylic paint onto the top and to the bottom of the glass bead to make a chimney lid and a reservoir tank on the bottom. To do this, I put a little blob of paint on the end of a pin, and I come in and I paint. And I paint up the wires to give them a black handle. And then we'll do the bottom. And we'll just put a blob on the bottom. And the last bit to do with the lantern is using some of this X24 yellow Tamiya clear paint. Again, I'm using a pen, and just with a little bit we can put it on and make the lamp a little bit yellow for the old-fashioned look. And that just tints the lead a little bit. And there he is. He's now ready to put on a caboose or a coach. So there you go. Hope this helps.